Whoa, calm down.
What do you think?
Seeing the look on your face, he laughs.
Old habits die hard, but I'm willing to bet these Voidwoken will die hard.
With that, Ifan salutes you. He whistles up his soul wolf and strides off.
Okay, so he wants me to be in charge of a army or something. Alright, boat. Let's see the ending cinematic, and then I think we got one more.
Pleasure to speak to you, as it does to behold it. I am at.
You look up, and with a start,
Ooh,
the
this map is
world
new.
was at peace, at least for now.
Oh, there's arcs down at the bottom. Oh, don't have much time to look at that.
With its significance as the seat of divinity diminished, Arx fell into decline, and within 7 generations had emptied. Few were as prepared for the new world as the lizardkin of the ancient empire. With power spread equally throughout the world, the advantage lay with those who knew how to steal it, and at this the lizards excelled.
Ooh, he looks
With
cool.
their queen dead and the Voidwoken gone, the dwarves held the
Oh yeah, sorry
greatest
about that.
party in the history of dwarfdom.
Oh, they're happy.
A new king took the throne, the local brewer. 6 days later, he was stabbed to death with a mutton fork.
What?
With their power returned,
Dude, that hat.
the elves reclaimed their lands from the Death Fog and began to rebuild. Soon they would split as 2 factions sought power, one to bring back the trees, the other to bring back the scions. A dwarven joke did the rounds. It ends with the punchline, "So Lucian dropped the Death Fog on them again."
Oh, typical beings.
Only the elven god
Joking about
could
genocide.
bring the elves together once more. And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas,
Dude,
the
he's
Black
got
Ring
hands
came
on his
together
belt.
once more.
What the heck?
The island of Fort Joy, the old redoute of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen. Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world.
Blood flesh oranges? No thanks.
The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still.
That was me. Sorry.
Driftwood became a center of industry, trade, and transport. Lohar became mayor, and Brayton Barnes grew rich, until, after a public argument over import duties, Barnes died in an accident, buried under several tons of fish, and also stabbed in the back with a gutting knife. Lagan left his over-demanding wife and began a relationship with a local bard. In the spirit of loving generosity, he returned the ring to his now ex-wife. In a fit of rage, she threw it into the sea.
I got that ring out of the sea.
You would never forget Dorothea's kiss. Dorothea herself left Driftwood for the ancient empire, ever in search of the perfect kiss.
I killed
She
her.
never found it, although once or twice she came close. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Millennia later, adventurers would come in search of the legendary divine city of Arx and the crypt of the great Lucian. None would pass the path of blood. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors. Almira and Mihaili settled in an abandoned homestead. The locals liked and respected Almira. She never wanted for help, and deals always fell to her favor. Outsiders were often suspicious, but no local would speak against her. With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon.
Still don't know what that
And
problem
so
was.
her search continued. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again.
I thought his hands were messed up. He had like those gauntlet arm braces.
With the source released to the world, Ahu the wizard spent more and more time as a cat. One day he decided he would not change back.
Okay. Another furry.
With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. With more undead than ever before, she founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering them shelter from hatred and fear. Jehan the demon hunter found himself at a loose end, so he opened a museum of demonic artifacts. After it burned down, with Jehan inside, witnesses claimed that the flames were the color of blood.
Whoops.
As the forests grew anew and the elves were equals at last, Sahala shared elven knowledge of source with the world. But some elves disagreed and plotted against her. Chief amongst her opponents was Tova, Sahala's own mother.
Man, this is a long
With a
explanation.
small band of elves, If and
None of the other
Nest
endings had anything like
replanted
this.
the lost elven forests. After the first fresh shoots broke the earth, he disappeared and was never seen again. Some say Afrit, his soul wolf, walks the forests still. Sabine wandered the world. She became a household name, famed the realm over as a traveling hero, celebrated wherever she went. Enjoying life to the fullest, she was truly and finally free. The Red Prince came home a hero. With Sada, he had more dragons. Soon, Prince became Emperor, one who would not use his dragons for conquest. His realm knew peace, and the world did not burn.
Good job. You controlled yourself.
And then there was you. You returned to the world a sorcerer among many. Your future was yours to decide. Did you accept your new status with humility? Only you know the truth, you and one other. But of him you are free. The God King no longer calls your name. He no longer whispers your shame. Only you know if you atone for your sins.
Yeah, I'm fine. Alright. Well, in true RPG style, there's no ending that makes everyone happy, so Malady feels let down in that one. Everyone else pretty much is happy. Alright, we have one left. I hope this isn't boring for you guys. I'm sure it is for some people. We just got one ending left to see, and then we've completely concluded this playthrough.
After all that, or to sack what you do next, what shall you do with
Purge the
Divinity?
world of all source.
And so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. Dallas the Hammer, the secret eternal, purged the Godwoken and used the Source to close the veil to the void.
Oof.
The world was
So this was the
saved.
sacrifice.
Statues in memory of the Godwoken who sacrificed their Source were erected all across Rivellon. They would never be forgotten. The half-demon Malady took pity on the soulless Godwoken silent monks and brought them to the Hall of Echoes. There, from the scraps of their souls that remained, she restored them to life. Sorcerers no more, they lived out the rest of their lives, freed of the burden of being the Godwoken.
Aw, thanks,
Freed
Melody.
from the weight of the world. As for me, the Godwoken sacrifice severed the link that bound the Sworn to the God King, and I was finally free. To atone for my sins, I spent the rest of my days taking care of the sick and elderly, telling the story of the Godwoken, that the world may never forget the greatest heroes Rivellon had ever seen.
Okay.
Well, well, look what the cat dragged in. A silent monk. Like I would about the return of the codpiece. The man's a man. All too prone to the weaknesses of the heart. Yes, well, that's to say, that's love, not... All right, you made a point. Besides, Lucian. Perhaps as for myself, I'm counting on a why, I mean my empire, of course. After all, I've dragons to raise. There may be... I do so long to see my palace again. To sit all day, but above all, I long to be... Oh, but remember how when we first met? Not something wonderful. Now, if you recall...
The teeth
as
thing
per your
again.
Still, what say you?
Being your slave sounds absolutely wonderful, Red.
Well, that's settled then. You're very welcome to my house in... My boots are not going to clean themselves.
Oh my god. Alright.
Malady stands tall and proud.
Well, here we are again. Ah, there you are. More than a silent monstrosity, less than a god. Where did I go wrong?
How'd you save me?
How is so boring. Unfortunately for me. Still, I'd expected quite a bit more from you. I was interested in being... Never mind. I'll find another way.
She fingers the mask covering her face.
We've come a long way together. I did my best by you all the way.
She looks you up.
I guess take a moment, relax, enjoy. I certainly plan to do this until next.
So I guess there's no ending where you still end up I guess if you're Fane, there's no ending where you remain a powerhouse and Malady gets to use you for whatever her secret agenda is?
No more source, no more powers. Don't worry, Dad. Who knows? But a girl needs some fun. Reform my way.
Her eyes flicked up. Her mouth meets yours.
Something to remember me by.
I always thought that those who resorted to self-sacrifice were lacking in imagination. A world without source is one that will need individuals of wit and intellect. I believe I shall enjoy this new... That is the question, isn't it? How does one... No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language, unreadable to most. I intend to seek them out. This Gustav...
Darling, and I'm here, if just barely. Thank the gods or whomever for Malady.
I'm exceedingly glad to not find you a silent monk.
One can hardly get to the truth without one's tongue.
The shadow of a smile passes over her.
I'm glad to. That
She laughs.
we want each other. We love each other. Let others.
Okay. Ifon? How do you feel about all magic being gone?
Ah, the bit.
Ifan folds his arms and steps back.
I suppose this is proof. After
Oh, you
all
don't
that
like
we've
it?
been through since Fort Joy. After all that.
He fixes you with a steely gaze, eyes burnished and shining like pebbles of hatred.
I think it was the best option.
It was absolutely not. You listened to Lucian. You obeyed Lucian. I intend to spend the remainder of my... It may not, but when did that...
Ifan pauses.
Okay.
It gives me almost as much pleasure.
You look, and with a start. At last, the world was at peace. As the races united behind Lucian, Arx remained the center of power. The ancient Lizard Empire opened its gates. The houses disbanded, and the Empire adopted a pluralist quasi-democracy. Anyone could vote for whoever they pleased, as long as the House of Shadows approved. With their queen dead and the Voidwoken gone, the dwarves held the greatest party in the history of dwarfdom. A new king took the throne, the local brewer. 6 days later, he was stabbed to death with a mutton fork.
Poor guy again.
Lucian made amends to the elves. He gave them lands and vast riches from the coffers of the old divine order. But the elves never forgave him. They would not trust humans again. And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more. The island of Fort Joy, the old redoute of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile
I think
farmlands
because my decisions through the game didn't change, so I think that ending seems to be the exact same one. Wow. All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Finally finished our objective after about a month working on this. So we have beaten the game on honor mode and seen all of Fane's endings, I believe. I think so. Going to be starting a new adventure of some sort tomorrow. I'll figure that out in the next 24 hours. If you'd like to join us, be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want a notification when I'm online, hit that follow button and you will get one. And thank you again just for being here. You guys have a good night. Peace out.